Making this incredibly delicious cashew chicken in the Instant Pot makes the entire process so quick and easy. I'm Justin from Cooking with Coit. I specialize in clean comfort cooking. And if you love this recipe, make sure you hit those like and subscribe buttons. Let's get started. First thing we're gonna do is prep our ginger and our garlic. We're gonna use 2 teaspoons of minced ginger. So I just cut a little piece off of here. The key to getting the skin off the ginger is really you can do it in 2 different ways. Number 1, you can use a spoon just like this and basically scrape off the skin. Or the way that I've been preferring lately is just to use a knife and to cut off the skin in pieces just like that. So I literally just make cuts all around the ginger. The advantage of using a spoon is that you're wasting a little bit less ginger. As you can see, as I'm cutting, there's a little bit of ginger that goes to waste here. So if that bothers you, use the spoon method. But I think using a knife and just cutting it off is quicker and easier. And you also get nice straight edges on the ginger to work with as you're mincing. Mince up 1 clove of garlic. Next thing we're gonna do is work on this super delicious sauce that I love so much. This sauce has kind of a soy sauce base, but it's got a little bit of sweetness from the sugar and honey. It is delicious. First thing we're gonna do is add 1 tablespoon of sesame seed oil into a bowl. Next, we're gonna add 1 tablespoon of sugar, 2 tablespoons of rice vinegar. Rice vinegar is one of those ingredients that I don't really use often in cooking. It's a fantastic ingredient. Next, we're gonna pop in 1 tablespoon of honey. And honestly, if you guys are looking to cut back on the sugar and you don't wanna use granulated sugar, you really could use honey to substitute for the sugar that I just used. So just keep that in mind. If you're trying to be healthier, definitely use a little bit more honey and a little less granulated sugar. Next up, we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of ketchup. Next, we're gonna add 1 teaspoon of red pepper flakes. And these red pepper flakes are gonna give you just a little bit of kick of spice in the sauce, which again, it's a little spicy, it's a little sweet. I just love it. You guys are gonna love this sauce. Now we're gonna add our ginger that we've already minced. And you probably guessed it, we're also gonna be adding this minced garlic to the bowl too. All right, so now we're just gonna give it a little bit of a whisk. Oh, guys, oh my gosh, I forgot the soy sauce. How do I forget the soy sauce? 7 tablespoons of soy sauce. I don't know why I wrote in this recipe 7 tablespoons. I probably should have just converted that to cups, which is, I think 8 tablespoons is 1/4 cup. Don't quote me on that, I gotta do that math. Anyway, sorry, 7 tablespoons for now. If you can do the math and you know how to convert that into cups, please go ahead, because that was kind of dumb. Okay, now we're gonna give it a nice little whisk. Let's mix everything together. You just wanna keep mixing until it's all well combined. And now we're gonna set this aside. Next thing we're gonna do is prep our chicken breasts. I usually like to trim the fat off the breast. If you see any, like this little piece here, just like to cut that off. You don't have to do this. I just think it's like a nice thing to do. Makes every bite that you have kind of nice and tender chicken instead of like chewing into fat. Also in some recipes, keeping the fat on the protein actually can help it cook and to induce more flavor. I don't find that's the case in this, so I'm gonna get rid of all the fat. These breasts look pretty good, so there's not too much of that to do. Next thing we're gonna do is cut these chicken breasts into basically 1-inch size square cubes. You don't have to cut perfectly cube shape unless you have OCD like me. If you don't have OCD, just do it. We don't have to be too precious with this. So I'm just making nice long cuts here, and then I'm going to cut the other direction to make the cubes. Make sure you have a big mixing bowl to your left or to your right. I'm gonna take the chicken cubes and toss them into the bowl as I go. Next thing we're gonna do is season our chicken. We're just gonna use salt and pepper for this. The measurements in my recipe are about 1/2 teaspoon each. I don't need to measure. You probably don't need to measure. Just do a couple big pinches of salt and maybe 1 or 2 big pinches of pepper. And now we're gonna do something super cool. We're gonna use this ingredient called arrowroot flour. Arrowroot flour is a really interesting ingredient, and what it does is it helps crisp up whatever you put it on. So as we're sauteing this chicken, after it's got the arrowroot on it, it's gonna get a nice kind of crispy exterior, or about as crispy as you can possibly make it in an Instant Pot. All right, so I'm gonna take 1 tablespoon of arrowroot and dump it in here on the chicken. And then now let's give everything a quick toss. We just wanna try to coat all the chicken pieces with the arrowroot as much as we can. And there's really no harm in adding a little bit of extra arrowroot if you feel like you need to. Now, the other way that we're gonna use arrowroot in just a couple minutes is we're gonna add it to our sauce to thicken it. And that's something we're gonna do almost at the very end. I don't know if you guys saw earlier, but as I was cutting the chicken, I nicked my finger. So let me just put a quick second Band-Aid on because like there's blood coming through. It looks a little gross. I had just gotten my knives sharpened. I found that I tend to cut myself more with dull knives than I do with sharp knives because I have to push so hard. So I think it's actually a very good safety tip is to make sure that your knives are as sharpened as often as you can. I hadn't gotten them sharpened in a long time, so clearly I'm not used to it. Next thing we're gonna do is brown our chicken in our Instant Pot. And I feel like I always have to say this because somebody in the comments is gonna say, that is not an Instant Pot brand Instant Pot. I know. This unit is made by a company called Fagor. It's a multi-cooker. It does pressure cooking, slow cooking, and something else probably, and it's awesome. So I know it's not an Instant Pot brand Instant Pot, but it works the exact same way. So please don't beat me up in the comments. Thank you. So let's set this pressure cooker to the brown setting. And if yours doesn't have a brown setting, you can use the saute setting too. It really does the same thing, I think. Doubt there's really much difference at all. I'm gonna let this come to heat, and then I'm going to add my tablespoon of sesame oil and then brown my chicken. All right, our pressure cooker has come to temperature, so we're gonna add 1 tablespoon of sesame oil, and now we're gonna add our chicken. You have a couple options here. You could do this chicken in batches. This is 2 pounds of chicken. It's quite a lot of chicken to cook at one time in the Instant Pot. The difference is that, you know, if you were cooking less chicken in smaller batches, you're probably gonna get a nicer brown look on all the chicken pieces. I honestly don't think it's really worth doing it in batches. I think you should do it all at once just to make it easier. When we add the sauce to this chicken at the end, it's gonna give it a really beautiful, nice kind of brown glaze to it, so you don't have to worry about the color so much. So I'm gonna add all the chicken at one time into the pot. There are some recipes where really doing things in batches is very important and really contributes to either the look of the food or the flavor, but this is really not one of them. We're gonna cook this chicken until it's, you know, slightly browned. It's probably gonna be about 5 minutes or so. All right, this chicken is just about totally cooked through. Let me just show you what it should look like. Here, Braden, will you get a shot of this? I don't know if you guys can see that too well, but it's just a little bit of brown on the outside. Oh, hot, hot, hot. But that's exactly what we're looking for in our chicken. If you guys see a little bit of water building up in your Instant Pot, it's totally fine. Literally, it's just water that's cooking off from the chicken, so don't worry about it. Next thing we're gonna do is turn off our Instant Pot. Let's cancel this. Add 1 cup of cashews into the pot. These are unroasted cashews, but you could use roasted cashews if you want. I try not to use salted cashews though, because I really wanna make sure that I am not adding too much salt into the final dish. I like to be in a little more control of that. Next, we're gonna take our sauce that we made from earlier and we're gonna add it into this pot. And now, let's give everything a nice big mix. Try to evenly incorporate all the chicken and the sauce and the cashews. All right, so once everything is mixed around nicely, we're gonna turn our Instant Pot back on. We're gonna set it to pressure cook on high for 6 minutes. Let's put our top on here. Oh. This happens every time because this thing is backwards. It's for you guys, it's not aimed to me. Oh, guys. I swear I'm not dumb. There we go, okay. Also make sure that the pressure release valve is set to pressure. And hit start. Oh, I missed it. That was too slow. Okay, let's do it again. Pressure cook on high for 6 minutes. And hit start. And I'll be back when it's all done. All right, guys, the chicken just finished cooking. Let's take a look and see how we did. Woo, yes, okay. This is looking super fantastic. We've got a nice, beautiful glaze on the chicken already from the sauce. Cashews look great too. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go back to our arrowroot and we're gonna use the arrowroot to thicken the sauce. So let's take just about 1 tablespoon of arrowroot flour. You could use actually a little bit less. 1 tablespoon might be a little bit much. How about a half a tablespoon? I put it into 2 tablespoons of water into a small bowl, and I'm just gonna give it a little bit of a mix here. All you need to do is make sure that the powdery chunks of the arrowroot have been all kind of dissolved in the water. And then take your spatula, just give this a nice mix, and we're going to be adding slowly this arrowroot and water mixture. And as you're moving it around, what you're gonna see is that the arrowroot is gonna really thicken up this sauce super beautifully. All right, Braden, come get a shot of this and let's show them. All right, so the way that you're gonna know that the sauce is thickened up, just take your spatula and draw a line right through. You see how the sauce is coming back together nice and slow? That means it's perfectly thickened. All right, guys, let me show you how I finish off this beautiful cashew chicken. First thing I'm gonna do is sprinkle on a little bit of green onion. I like to slice the green onion at a little bit of an angle and nice and thin. Put some of these guys on there. And the last thing we're gonna do is add a little bit of sesame seeds. Just a little bit of a tap, a little sprinkle. And this looks incredible. I cannot wait to give this a try, but before I do, if you love this recipe and you wanna see more just like it, check out my Instant Pot recipe playlist. Okay, let's give this a try. This Instant Pot Cashew Chicken is so delicious. The chicken is cooked perfectly. The sauce goes so great with it. A little sweet, but a slight bit of kick. Guys, I know you're gonna love this one. You definitely have to give it a try. See you in the next video.